The sun was barely up, and I was still in my sweatpants, cradling a steaming mug of coffee, when I saw a guy bolting down my gravel driveway like he'd seen a ghost. Behind him, one of my crocodile's jaws, the quickest of my trio, slid back into the pond, flinging mud onto the neon surveyor flags staked across my land like some tacky art project. That guy? He was Tom Bradley, the HOA president, who just tried to kick off an ATV trail ribbon cutting on what he thought was his new path through Saw property. What he didn't know was I'd turned that path into a wildlife sanctuary, and Jaws was just doing what Jaws does best. This whole mess started a few weeks back when I told Tom I wasn't part of his precious HOA. He didn't take kindly to that. I'm Ethan, just a regular guy who inherited a quiet patch of land from my grandpa, right outside the HOA's grip. It's got wild grasses, a dirt trail from my old tractor, and a shed full of dusty memories. Everything was fine until I spotted those pink flags one morning, lined up like a landing strip across my field. They cut through my fence, my clover patch, and stopped dead at my well house. My stomach sank. Then I heard the smug hum of a golf cart rolling up. Tom Bradley, in a crisp polo that screamed, "I'm in charge," parked at the edge of my land, adjusted his shades, and flashed a grin like he was selling toothpaste. "Morning, neighbor," he chirped like we were old pals. I squinted. "Can I help you?" I knew his answer would tick me off. "Just marking the new community trail," he said, while VYing at the flags like he was unveiling a statue. "Board approved it last week. Gonna be great for the ATV crowd. Cuts right through here." I blinked. "Through Saw land?" Tom nodded, all casual. "Your parcel links our community. It's a gray area, but the master plan kinda includes you now. Progress, you know." I pulled out my phone, showed him my property, lines clearly outside his HOA's reach. My address wasn't even in their system. He waved it off. "Small hiccup. We're fixing the zoning. It'll be cleaner soon." I wasn't buying it. "You're saying I'm in your HOA because it suits your trail?" Tom's smile didn't budge. "It's for property values, Ethan. You'll thank me when it's done." That's when it hit me Tom wasn't just annoying. He was playing chess, trying to bully me into submission by acting like it was a done deal. I told him to pull the flags. He just smirked. "See you at the meeting. Budget's already set." Next morning, a bulldozer and landscaping trucks showed up. My shed was knocked crooked. A worker claimed it was HOA land. I called the sheriff. Tom flashed some shady paperwork, and the sheriff said it was a CIVYL matter unless I had proof of trespassing. Tom winked. "Get some cameras, neighbor." That night, I vented to my buddy Max, a retired vet who lives nearby. Over beers, I spilled everything flags, bulldozer, Tom's smug face. Max chuckled. "You know what'd scare an HOA worse than a lawsuit?" I raised an eyebrow. "What?" He grinned. "Crocodiles. Dig a pond, call a sanctuary. They'll never come near." I laughed, then paused. "Wait, could I actually do that?" Max, who once built bunkers for fun, smirked. "You're asking the guy who knows how to make trouble disappear." I stayed up all night researching wildlife laws. Turns out, I could register my lower field as a reptile habitat with proper permits and fencing. Crocodiles were legal heron breeding, controlled environment. I barely slept. Next day, I hit up a herpetology center. They had 3 crocs needing a home: Jaws, Spike, and Crunch. With Max's help and a consultant's advice, we turned my low ground into a wetland zone. I filed state paperwork, built fences, put up cameras, and slapped wildlife habitat, "Do not disturb" signs everywhere. Tom drove by, sneering, thinking I was bluffing. He had no clue. When the crocs arrived, I nailed my permit to the gate. Max toasted me with a beer. To the only guy fighting an HOA with dinosaurs. Tom's big trail launch was that weekend board members, residents, even a photographer. He didn't expect Jaws. One board member leaned too far over the fence for a photo, and Jaws lunged. Screams. Papers flying. Tom tripped into the photographer, her purse hitting the mud. Chaos. I stood back, sipping coffee, watching Tom realize he'd started a war he couldn't win. My niece, Sarah, who'd infiltrated the HOA's social page for intel, sent me their group chat. Tom was losing at legal threats, demands to eradicate the swamp. One message whined about a Dulaw 40,000 community investment. I laughed. Tom thought this was about budgets. He didn't get that he was up against 3 federally permitted crocs and a guy with a law on his side. I filed more papers to make the pond a protected habitat. An ecologist inspected it, gave me a thumbs up. I added reeds, logs, and a solar fountain not just to scare Tom, but to make it untouchable. Sarah's VY Deo of Tom's fall went VY Rel, hitting 20,000 VYUs. Locals cheer me on, sick of HOA overreach. Comments like "flood that trail with gators" poured in. Tom didn't quit. He showed up with a suited community liaison to re-VYEW my pond. I handed over my 30-page permit folder. The suit's face fell. He nodded and left. Tom fumed. That night, Max and I rigged motion lights and tripwire sirens. Not traps, just proof. Then the HOA tried a cleanup day near my land, a ploy to snoop. A drone buzzed over the pond. Jaws snapped it out of the air. Teens cheered. Sarah posted it. HOA drones versus real predators. It hit 100,000 VYUs. A reporter came by. I gave her my permit and let her film. The story aired. Man turns land into crocodile sanctuary after HOA overreach. Tom looked like a petty fool. At 2 a.m., my cameras caught a figure in a hoodie by the fence. Tripwires blared. Max and I moved fast. The guy Tom's contractor fell in the mud near Crunch's log. Sheriff arrested him. He claimed he was checking drainage. Tom denied involvement, but his credibility was shot. The HOA board imploded. Leaks showed members raging at Tom's mess. Some quit. I turned the pond's east side into an educational zone, benches, croc facts, a donation box. Kids loved it. Families VY-sided. I hadn't planned this, but if Tom wanted to fight, I'd win it with brains and scaly backup. Tom's next move was a laughable formal notice claiming my pond was a safety hazard. My lawyer, Lisa, a former prosecutor, tore it apart, VYing the board with my permits and a harassment claim. Board members started apologizing, admitting Tom lied. Sarah's drone VY Deo hit 500,000 VYUs. Locals call me the Gator Guy. Max made Team Jaws shirts. Even the sheriff wore one. Tom sent animal control, but they found my setup flawless. Then, at 3 a.m., cameras caught 2 guys with bolt cutters, Tom's cousin and a teen. They planned to poison the pond. I blared, "Smile for the sheriff." Max fired a warning shot. Sheriff nabbed them. The teen ratted out Tom. Tom got a restraining order. The board booted him. News screamed. HOA president accused of crocodile sabotage. Memes exploded. Tom fleeing cartoon crocs. Lawsuits flew. Homeowners demanded refunds. I became a reluctant hero. The pond was now a landmark. Schools hosted field trips. Scouts built signs. A mural on my shed showed Jaws as HOA slayer. The sheriff stopped by, grinning. "You did more with 3 crocs than Tom did with his bylaws." One night, I heard a bulldozer. Tom's final play hired goons to wreck the pond. Cameras caught them. Sirens blared. The driver got stuck in mud. Max nabbed the lookout. Sheriff arrested both Tom's relatives. They confessed Tom paid them. He denied it, but the sheriff wasn't fooled. News aired it. Crocodile sanctuary targeted in HOA scandal. The board voted Tom out, 12-1. In court, Tom tried suing me for emotional distress. Lisa buried him with EVY Denke. The judge laughed, dismissing his case. Tom stormed off, show VYing cameras. The pond became a symbol. A news crew did a feel-good story. Kids' posters hung by the deck. Jaws surfaced for the camera like a star. Max carved a sign, Croc Kingdom Estate. After Tom's house went up for sale. A nonprofit used my story for a Know Your Rights campaign and Jaws on posters. The pond grew with donated plants and a scout trail. At a barbecue, neighbors thanked me. An old couple said they'd never felt community until now. As the sun set, Max handed me a beer. "To scales in the sun," he said. We clinked glasses, watching Jaws glide. No more bulldozers, just peace and crocs. So what do you think? Was I right to fight Tom with crocs? Or should I have played his game? Could Tom have won if he'd backed off early? Should HOAs have less power, or are they needed? Drop your thoughts below. Let's stir up some debate. Like, comment, and subscribe for more wild stories.